Hello neighbors, I'm Steven here at etrailer.com. Today we're looking at this Demco Dominator, and it's a non-binding tow bar with the included Blue Ox and CURT base plate adapters for your RV mount. Folks, this is a 2" by 2" hitch hookup, and this will let you safely bring your vehicle along behind your RV. Folks, it's got a very nice set of self-supporting arms, so they're not going to fall to the ground as you're hooking up. Keep in mind I've got it mocked up here on a block of wood because obviously this hitch piece here is not in the hitch, therefore I can't just hold it up. But rest assured, when this is in place, these arms are staying level. They can scissor back and forth, spread out to help you get whatever dimension you need to hook up to the vehicle. So again, very nice, simple hookup. They very, very smoothly extend out. You can hear it lock out there. And whenever you need to retract them, it's a simple spring lever here. Push that spring lever, goes back with super ease. Very simple operation. Now they do automatically lock out like I just showed you, and it makes for a very quick connect or disconnect, even on rough terrain with the 9 binding triggers. It's not gonna bind up on you, so if you're in a tight area or a tight angle, it should still unlock, no problems. Now another great feature with them being extra long is when you need to go make tight turns, that's gonna give you a very larger turning radius than some of the other tow bars out there on the market. So I like that feature a lot because anytime you flat tow, as much turn radius as you can get is also a good thing. Now it does include what's called a built-in riser drop and also a tilt on the head. So again, when you're flat towing, you want to keep the tow bar as level as possible. You can be off up or down a few inches, but you want to really keep it as level as possible. With this guy, if you were set up and you need to go higher, you could actually flip this over or vice versa. If you were lower and need to go higher, you can flip it over and that'll give you extra space you need to get up or down to get you to level. So a very nice feature there. Now one thing to mention though on these arms they are side specific. So you can see this black bar here, it's got this retainer clip in it. This is actually for your coiled cable that you're gonna be putting on there. You need to make sure this guy is always on the left or on the driver's side of the vehicle. Otherwise, when you try to go to store this, if this bar is on the other side, this bar here could come in contact with the safety chain holders and it could break them, bend them, knock them off. So keep that in mind. As I mentioned before, this does come with the included adapters to hook up to the CURT or Blue Ox base plate. And that's what those guys look like. You get all the included new hardware for doing that. So when you take off the old ones that came with the Demco Tow Bar and put these guys on, you want to make sure you're using the new hardware that's included. And that will simply go on the end of the arm. So just like where this guy is. And then obviously when you're hooking up, you'd have it spun probably like so. So again, just another feature too. You can spin these arms 360, doesn't matter. You want to make them lined up, that just helps it that much easier as well. Now the whole thing here is made of a very nice, very sturdy but lightweight aluminum, so that's going to resist rust and corrosion. And all the other components that are steel, the nuts, bolts, and that kind of stuff, they are incorporated throughout, but they also add extra strength and durability. And everything here is made in the USA, so a very nice another feature as well. Now folks, if you've never flat towed, I want to go through a quick list of things you're probably going to need. If you already have, maybe some of these aren't on your list, but it's something to think about. So obviously you're going to need a hitch on the back of the RV. You're going to need the tow bar, which will slide into the hitch. And then you're going to need a base plate on the vehicle side. That way the tow bar can hook up to and then also pull that vehicle or tow it behind you. You're going to need a wiring plug. You're going to need safety cables, which in this case they're included. I always tell people, remember, crisscross your safety cables under the hitch part that's going into the hitch rather of the tow bar. That way, God forbid it ever comes unhooked, you've got a nice little cradle to kind of hold up anything, just another little bit of extra safety. And those cables are rated at an impressive 14,000 pounds, so they should never break on you. Now, another thing you may not be aware of, depending on the vehicle, you may possibly need cable extension. So you may be just close enough, maybe you need a 6-inch or a foot-long extension. You can get them here at eTrailer as well separately if needed. You're going to need a supplemental braking system, as they call it. So it's going to be inside the vehicle, possibly under the hood, but normally it's right there underneath the steering wheel, somewhere in that area under the towed vehicle. To apply the brakes, whenever you hit the brakes on the RV, it's applying the same amount of brakes to the tow vehicle for safety. You're most likely going to need a wiring adapter cord and a coiled wiring to get from the back of the RV to the front of the tow vehicle. You're probably going to need a wiring kit to wire up your vehicle and possibly a diode kit. And what I always recommend people as well is a locking kit. So these adapters and everything come with these pins and clips. That'll work just fine, folks. Don't get me wrong. I highly recommend though changing them out for a locking set. Keep in mind the two at the front of the base plate are smaller, usually a 1/2 inch. The hitch pin's usually 5/8 of an inch. So I recommend a locking set, one, so no one can steal your investment, right? You spend a lot of good money on an investment you're gonna be using for years and years. Why not spend a couple more dollars and get it locked up so no one can take it from you, right? But also kind of peace of mind. Unfortunately, we live in a world where people think it's funny at rest stops and gas stations and whatnot to pull pins out, unhook things for whatever reason. I have seen it, unfortunately. So again, just another peace of mind for little things like that. And some other things I recommend that some people don't always think about is maintenance kits, that kind of thing. So for instance, these spring latches here are serviceable. So we sell kits here at eTrailer separately, these red plates up here and everything. Again, if something happens and they get bent, broke for whatever reason, maybe you accidentally backed up. You're not supposed to back up whenever you're flat towing, but maybe you accidentally backed up and you bent something. Now you need to replace parts. It's very simple to store a very simple replacement kit. Sometimes the nylon washers are replaceable and that kind of stuff. I recommend getting a couple of replacement parts just to have them in the RV or the vehicle in an out of the way storage space for the what if factor. Keep in mind, a lot of this stuff is not just going to be, hey, I'm going to go to the local store and pick up a spring latch kit, let's say, or something. You may have to wait a week or two, depending on where you're at, to get something like that shipped to you. And depending on where you're at, it may be even harder to get to you quicker. So again, just my recommendation, something to think about. Keep it as a backup. And I always tell people, to me, it's a great thing. Let's say you don't need it, but you're able to help another friend or neighbor out on the campsite that maybe goofed up and he needs or she needs that part. You can help them, which is a very nice thing as well. Well, folks, again, a lot of information. I hope it's been helpful. Continuing on, again, this fits, again, the Blue Ox and CURT base plates. It has a 2" by 2" shank. Let me throw up some dimensions here on the screen of this tow bar connection point back here, the shank rather. So from the top, that 10.5 inches from the center of the most furthest back hitch pin hole there in the middle of the screen to the top of the head bolt there on the far right is 10.5 inches. Center to center between the two hitch pin holes is 2 inches on center, and that 3 inches from that furthest back pin hole center to where the slant starts up on that shank, on that pivot head. And again, just to show you a picture of this in operation. So it's on the front of the vehicle there, the GMC on the left. Looks like it's hooking up to a CURT base plate, if I'm not mistaken. And again, you've got the Demco Dominator there hooked up. You got the safety cables, that larger coiled red cable, that's your electrical. And that smaller one there in the center underneath that big large one, if you can see it, that's your safety breakaway cable. And it's connected to a breakaway switch or pin. And God forbid, again, something comes unhooked, that will pull out and immediately apply the brakes on the towed vehicle, ensuring a safe stop. That way it doesn't run away on you. So again, very, very important, folks, to remain safe at all times. Some dimensions on this guy. The arm length, when it is fully extended, from the center of that pinhole to the center of the furthest to the front pinhole, that length of that arm and everything is 51 3/4 inches long. And when you bring it back to the shortest retracted position, center to center, you get 39 1/4 inches long. The weight capacity is 7,500 pounds. The weight of the tow bar itself is only 30 pounds. It's pretty lightweight. Being aluminum, that helps bring the weight down. And as I mentioned before, the safety cable rating is an impressive 14,000 pounds. Folks, it has a very, very nice limited lifetime warranty from Demco. We've worked with them for years and years. They're a very nice company to work with. I really don't think you'll have any issues whatsoever, but if you do, you can contact us or them, and one of us will get you taken care of, no problem at all. Well, folks, again, thank you so much for your time. I know it's been a lot of information. I hope it's been helpful. I hope it's been educational for you. As always, you can reach out to us, chat, email, phone, and we'll be happy to help you if you have any questions or concerns. I'm Steven. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.